Well, since it seems to be a rather hot topic, I figured I'd finally throw my hat in the ring on racism. I won't go too much detail because I do plan to do a more elaborate video like I did for my 100 subs if and when I hit 200 subs. I'm currently at 159, so it may not be too long or it may take a while. But either way, I plan on doing that. But my main thought on racism is I don't get it. I understand evolutionary why it is there. I know why it could be was probably an advantage. You got species that someone of a different color is either a different species or is unfit or whatnot. There have been some studies that show that with coloring and whatnot. But with humans, we're all one species. And color has nothing to do with fitness or whatnot. So why is it such a big deal still? Is it because our minds are still stuck in that mindset of, that somebody's a different color is something we should avoid? And I just don't really like it. I hate that we can still be bigoted and racist against each other. That differences, perceived or real, can be seen as reasons to hate or dislike someone else. Of course, it's always perfect and fine when it's the group that, if I'm part of the group that's doing it, but when someone else is racist and bigoted to me, I'm supposed to hate it. And that's how it always seems to be with these white supremacist type groups. This whole idea of white America or Britain for whites only and other such things where it's superficial ideas of what's perfection, and which is sort of the biggest problems with eugenics and stuff, is that they're basing all their ideas on perfection upon superficial things. And by trying to create this perfect race, they're actually harming the human race because they're diluting the number of genes that we have in the population. If we got rid of all blacks, all Asians, or whatnot, we were just all white, then we'd lose all the diversity that those people carry. Another big thing is that, okay, if I'm going to make a difference between blacks and whites, then what about black, dark black ones, and browns? Are they going to be two different races? Are we going to start differentiating between them? Are we going to start saying that, okay, this part of Africa is only for those who are really dark black and these ones are for brown? And what about whites? Not everybody is the same color white. So is it going to be pure whites here? Albinos over here? What's exactly how are we supposed to segregate each other? Because there's not everyone is exactly the same type of white, or the same type of brown, or black, or Asian, or whatever. These dividing lines blur too much. There's also been some interesting things done with genetic research, researching lineages and whatnot. That a lot of people who thought they were African descendants find out that they have a high amount of European genes in them, or at least the markers for being European. So it's not that simple that, just because someone's outer appearance is darker than someone else's, they may very well be majority European markers, and so on. And someone who might be white might have majority African. markers. So what are we going to do? We're going to do genetic testing for everyone. I'm going to find out, okay, you're 90% European markers, you're going to Europe, you're 80% African, and at that point, you're going to end up still with diverse groups. Because you're still going to have people that are mostly European markers, but they look darker. And it's just stupid. We need to break down these barriers that separate us, whether it's religion, countries, ideology, political system, color, whatever. We need to break these things down and work together as the human race. Not as these hundreds of individual little groups that each want to be special and each want to be considered the only true group. We're not all perfect. Each of us has problems and things that are wrong with us. We need to stop looking at what makes us different and start looking at what makes us the same. This is my thoughts on this.